So let's say that you go out and buy like a fast car, and problem is you're getting low gas mileage, and other problem is it's most likely it's like a rear wheel drive car. So you have to have another option, because first of all, you can't be driving around in winter in some, rear wheel drive muscle car, because, eventually that ice and snow is going to cause you to spin out and it's going to kill you. So that's most likely going to happen. Like all those people who keep saying, oh yeah, well, I just put snow tires on the back of my car. Well, every time I see one of those cars get wrapped up in a fucking pole or a tree, I always pass by real slow and I just shake my head at them and I'll be like, you see, you should have had all-wheel drive. So basically, there are lots of options. I mean, you could do the worst possible option. You get one of them shitty ass RAV4s, one of them stupid, what are those things? Those Honda CRVs. You don't want that. Like, I already went to the Honda dealership. I showed you. You don't want that at all. You want something that's more spacious. You want something that has really good, space. This thing has 3 freaking rows. My Jeep SRT does not have 3 rows. This freaking car has 3 rows. Now, granted, those back seats, you can only put like little kids in them, but this thing actually has 3 freaking rows. So let's say you don't have a lot of money because you're like a millennial and you went to college and you wasted a lot of money getting a shitty liberal arts degree that nobody gives a fuck about and they won't hire you. Well, if you're not making that much money, most likely you're going to end up with a budget somewhere below $25,000. Unfortunately, your bad, shitty credit is going to make it so that you're going to have such a high interest rate until you're probably going to be paying close to what somebody pays for freaking Hellcat on lease. So my thing is, well, you need options. So the first thing you might think, I'll get a RAV4 or a CRV. You don't want that at all. So I'm suggesting, once again, like I made a video a long time ago called Dodge Journey Loves Potholes. I'm suggesting that you take a good close look at the Dodge Journey. In fact, I reviewed this car too, this Audi Q5. And I have a video of the Audi Q5 a couple weeks ago. And you can look at my videos and you'll see that. And I wasn't as impressed with the Audi Q5 as I should have been, considering it's one of these Audis right there. You see that Audi A7 right there? Audi is supposed to be awesome, but when they have these little shitty 4-cylinder engines in these cars, it doesn't impress me at all. Meanwhile, the Dodge Journey, you can get that with the Pentastar V6, and you can actually have a nice, powerful engine. And these cars are pretty decent in snow and ice, and my thing is, it's like you gotta look around. But one thing I do love about the Dodge Journey, this thing has a great suspension, especially if you're going through potholes. Like if you go through a pothole, this Dodge Journey, you damn near don't feel the potholes. Like I'm not sure who made the platform for this car, but these things are amazing when you go through potholes. They're absolutely amazing. They're astounding. It's like it's quiet inside and you really don't feel like shitty, horrible roads. Now, you can't, no, you fucking shitty, ugly, rhinoceros-looking Infinity Q shit. Fuck that. You stay back there. So anyway, as I was saying, these things love potholes. They can go right through potholes, no problem. And they're very composed. Now, a lot of these quote-unquote professional reviewers, they will always say, oh, yeah, the Dodge Journey is not fun to drive and it's not sporty, because they kept on playing up the Honda and they kept on playing up those dumbass, those RAV4s. Thing about it is these cars right here have more space than a Toyota RAV4 and more space than a Honda. And funny thing about it is those Toyotas are very, very expensive now. So these are actually more costly. Uh-oh, somebody wants to race. Somebody wants to race. He's got a Honda Civic. We're gonna race. I don't have Brembo brakes. Oh my God, I gotta slow down. I forgot. I can't stop on a dime because this ain't the Jeep SRT. I don't have Brembo brakes right now. I need some Brembo brakes to race this motherfucker, because otherwise I'm gonna slam into the back of this cab. I don't want that. This guy's got a Honda Civic. Look at this guy. Look at yeah, no, but see, the Dodge Journey would be such a cool car if they offered it with like a performance package. But they're not going to do that. Most likely they're going to replace this with something else, maybe something that looks a little bit sportier or something. I was always disappointed that Chrysler didn't continue making the Pacifica, because the Pacifica, as it was when it was just a crossover instead of being a minivan, the Pacifica is a really cool car. And it basically invented the crossover segment back when it first came out. But I have to say, if you need a lot of space, and let's say you have like luxury cars and you don't want your nasty, filthy kids pissing and vomiting and shit all over your interior, well, you can get one of these Dodge Journeys instead of like, you know, like a Honda Element or something like that. And you can have like a decent all-year driver to accompany your race car. And when your kids say, oh, Dad, can we take the Demon? You'll be like, no, son, I'm sorry. I can't let you get into the Demon because you don't know how to not pee on yourself, or you vomit and shit when we're going really fast. So the thing about it is you can have something like this, and this way everybody's happy. It's like you can take the whole family. This is almost kind of like a minivan. It's almost, look at this, the Hyundai G90. So it's like Hyundai makes freaking luxury cars now. This is what the Lincoln Continental should have been. Look how big this thing is. Look at that guy. That guy feels like $1 million in there, despite the fact that he has a generic Korean-made car. So as I was saying, this thing is kind of like a minivan in size, except you obviously don't get that huge behind that third row. Here he is again. Nissan, I never imagined that somebody could build a car that looks like a rhinoceros. Nissan and Infiniti have built a car that looks just like a rhinoceros. I don't know how they did it. Like that thing, I would only want to drive that if I was on safari in Africa and I didn't give a shit if the lions and tigers and shit tore it apart from the outside and they couldn't get, as long as they couldn't get to me inside, no problem. But there are lots of options because basically everything's a crossover now. Like here, this guy's got, this guy has the WK2, but he has a early model Jeep, kind of like mine, except mine's SRT and everything. But let's say you can't afford a Jeep Grand Cherokee, because, you know, granted, these things, Jeep Grand Cherokee SRT is a fucking $80,000, and they start around, what is it, like $40,000. So let's say that you want something that's cost effective, fuel efficient, and it has lots of space and everything. Never mind this tire gauge. I'm gonna get some air a little bit later. But the Dodge Journey comes in many trims. You can get it with the Uconnect Touch Inch, or if you get a base model, because right now Tesla's having its ass kicked by recalls, and they're having their ass kicked by speculators who are kind of falling out of love with the stock. But that's their fault for not having $60,000 options and all the fucking cars starting in the fucking $80,000 range. This is actually pretty cool. But Model X is nice, but what I really wanted, I don't want a Model X, I want a bigger Model S. Like I want a Model S that is so big that it competes with the S-Class, but you're not going to get that. So this is the best you can do right now. But what does that say? Stormtrooper. See, this is what happens when you run out of letters. It says Stormtrooper. So he wants this to be a stormtrooper. That's what it is. But unfortunately, he couldn't put another R in there. I do like the Model X. I like the Model X. It's a nice car. Whoa, uh-oh. We got the Honda Civic again. He's been staying behind me. He's been staying behind me like real far and everything. And now he's right there. He's challenging me. Guy's challenging me. Look at that. He's got the Honda Civic with a big ass fucking hole in the bumper, and now he's challenging me. Holy shit. I don't know how you got that gigantic hole in your bumper, bro. But you're not supposed to be challenging me on the road. You're supposed to wait until I have an SRT. Then come mess with me. This guy. And look at this guy right here. Huh? Look at this guy right here. He's got the Tesla Model X. And he's looking at me, him and his boyfriend. And they're like, oh, yes, these Americans with their shitty little Dodge cars. Unfortunately, he can't afford something as expensive as the Model X. Because I'm so cool. I have a Model X that says Stormtrooper on the back. And look at him and his shitty Dodge Journey. He's got a Dodge. He's got a Dodge product. He couldn't even afford the Jeep SRT. And meanwhile, I'm riding around in my Tesla Model X. And this guy right here's got the Honda. He's trying to race people. Ridiculous. So, at any event, I would say you got to give the Dodge Journey a look, because I tell you, if you go through potholes with this thing, you'll absolutely love it. It's a very quiet road. Oh, I'm going to race these people. Oh, shit, we got some tire spin. Whoa. And look at this, a Scion. Yeah, you remember how that company Scion went out of business? Because they kept making small little shitty cars and trying to sell them. Just because you can sell a brand new car at $10,000 doesn't mean that you're going to stay in business, bro. Doesn't mean you're going to stay in business. Oh, a god in training said the Journey's a piece of shit. I totally disagree with you. I totally Look at these guys. They got the XB right here. B stands for box. box. That's what it stands for, XB. He's like, yeah, honey, I think there's a guy over here recording us, and I think we're live on YouTube. You know what's funny about YouTube? Ever since that mass shooting, technically I don't think it's really a mass shooting, but ever since that, they've been sending us emails asking the partners, how do we feel about YouTube service and everything. I didn't actually get a chance to talk about that mass shooting that just happened, but they've been sending me letters and stuff. Oh, how do you feel about YouTube? Are you happy with our service? Well, I'll tell you what, YouTube, stop demonetizing my fucking videos just because a little bit of copyrighted music gets into them. Then I'll be a lot happier. Because that Iranian chick, they demonetized her vegetarian bullshit videos, and that bitch reached for the fucking AR-15, and she says, enough of this shit, I'm going after YouTube. So all you gotta do is stop demonetizing fucking videos for stupid reasons. Whoa! Goodbye, XB. I got Dodge power right here, but I don't have fucking Brembo brakes, so I better slow the fuck down. Whee! It's like, yeah, there's some guy speeding around in a Dodge Journey. I don't know why. Oh, yeah, but I'll tell you, you better stop demonetizing these videos, YouTube, because these Iranian chicks, they're not taking that shit. She says, hey, they don't respect my vegetarian videos. So that bitch reached for a fucking gun. That's what she did. She was like, I'm not taking none of this bullshit. You want to demonetize my videos, I'm going to pull out the AR. That's what she said. So that's the problem. Nowadays, you can't fire people. Like, if you're a boss, you can't fire people like you used to be able. You used to be able to say, hey, Judson, you're fired. Can't do that shit no more. Remember how Donald Trump had his show? He was like, yeah, you're fired. You can't do that shit no more. People, oh, I'm fired, huh? So they go home, they get that AR-15, they come back up to the job, and they come see you. That's how it works. Can't fire people no more. You demonetize people's videos, you're playing with fire. See, I didn't get a chance to say anything because the sad thing is, had I made a video about YouTube demonetizing videos, YouTube would have fucking demonetized the video. Because they'd be like, oh, well, this is not content friendly. We're like, fuck content friendly. I'm just talking. That's what YouTube was supposed to be all about. I'm just talking here. I'm just saying controversial shit that you may not agree with. Here, let me show you what the rest of the car looks like. So anyway, never mind that tire pressure monitor. But let's take a look at the technology. Oh, there's another Honda Civic right there. Let's take a look at the technology. What does it say? Rally. He has a license plate on the front that says Rally, and he's got a big deer thing on top. So anyway, you got a tire pressure monitor right here. It's basically the same technology that you'd expect in Dodge Durango. So you got fuel economy. The fuel economy says 10.9. And what else? You got vehicle speed. Right now it should be 0. And then you got trip info. Tire pressure is obviously low. I got to get some air into that front right tire. Hopefully I didn't run over anything. I'd hate to have to fix that shit. But basically the interior is the exact same you'd expect out of, say, the Dodge Durango. So right here you have the temperature controls for your annoying children. It's too hot. It's too cold. You know, and, you know, you got to keep everybody comfortable. But that, let's go back there and take a look at that seat. Oh, in fact, let's look at the radio first. You see the radio? So you got the radio right there. And this is really fucking small. Not like the 8-inch model that you see and everything. You got player. And right now I have a USB thumb drive down here that's 128 gigabytes. So with that, I'm able to, store like thousands of records and whatnot on the USB drive. This one does not have an SD card reader, and I'm guessing they're going to get rid of that, as well as the CD player. See, one of the things about having a CD player in New York City is if you have a CD player, all of a sudden, if you're driving through Manhattan, people come up and they're trying to sell you mixtapes. Thing about it is, I'm like, yo, guys, you can't sell me a mixtape because I don't have a CD player. Problem is, if you're driving around in this thing, you actually have a CD player. Now they want to sell you a mixtape. I'm like, nah, that's okay. I don't want to hear your shitty-ass candy wrapper music. It's bullshit. So anyway, you can turn the screen off. I don't know why you needed such a gigantic button to be able to turn that little screen off. In fact, I have no reason why you would actually need to turn the screen off. It's so small. The new Mercedes Maybachs are really, really nice, but basically they're just guzzied up versions of the regular thing. If you spend enough money on the regular thing, you already have enough, as far as I'm concerned, just to answer your question. So anyway, there's a couple of car settings, display lights, a couple of cars' exterior settings, like what do you want it to do when you hit the button? Do you want it to unlock? Blah, blah, blah. Then you have the climate button right here. climate control. I think when you turn that on, climate turns on and this, that, and other. So you got front climate and all this, and you can sync both sides and everything. Dual zone climate is basically a standard feature on every car, and I guess it had to be because these women don't stop complaining. It doesn't matter who's in the car. If it's a woman, you can guarantee she'll start complaining that it's either too hot or too cold, and then she'll try to mess with your windows and everything. That's when you got to come right here, because like every time I have this chick in the car and she starts messing with my windows, I hit that button right there. It's like, yeah, all of a sudden that shit is locked. It's like, stop touching my buttons. I don't want you changing the dynamics of my car and shit. So it never fails. Women always be complaining. It's like, it's too cold. It's too cold. It's like, what are you talking about? It's like 75 degrees outside. So anyway, you also have right here, climate off, rear climate. So you can control the climate in the rear. So you can blow some hot air on your kids if they don't shut the hell up. And as you can see, this one doesn't have like the advanced features, like it doesn't have like advanced cruise control or anything like that. This is as base, bare bones as they come. In fact, let's look at the interior space. Now, one of the things you'll love about the interior space, unlike those shitty RAV4s and unlike those shitty ass CRVs, look at the ceiling height on this. Look at my head. Look at my head. You see how much freaking height? I'm sitting comfortably. Look at this shit. Look how much height I got right here. You see that? So it's very, very spacious. Very, very spacious. Very, very, very spacious. These things are gigantic. Let's look at the outside. Let's look at it. Yes, these things are very, very spacious. You see, this is the back seat. Now, see, this is how I was sitting. So if you had kids or some small adult, they'd be able to sit right behind you. As you can see right here, because of the floor being higher, the person doesn't have to necessarily sit with their knees in their chest, but they can actually sit very upright, and their head will be a kind of closer to the ceiling than the driver, but this is how I was sitting in it. And then they have this switch right here. Look in the back. Only little children named Timmy can sit in the back of this car. If you're a little child named Timmy and or you're a little girl and you have very, very skinny legs, you'll be fine sitting all the way in the back of this car. But the mere fact that it does have a third row, that's a good thing, because a lot of these crossovers do not have third rows. So let's look at this is an SXT. As you can see, it also has E85 ethanol. So right here, this is those jump seats back here. And as you can see, these can be. And meanwhile, Chrysler Dodge was selling more than 240,000 units of these things almost annually. And the Dodge Journey, no matter what they said bad about it, you couldn't stop it. And they're like, well, how come it's selling? Why can't we help RAV4s and CRV sell? Well, there's a reason, stupid. It's because the thing's too fucking small. When you make these things bigger, people want to buy them. And I'm not just talking about external length. I'm talking about height. I'm talking about having this bubble roof right here. See, people want to say, oh, yeah, well, you're just a shitty Dodge shill, and you shill for Challengers, and you shill for Hellcats, and you shill for Demons and everything. Meanwhile, the ZL1 is better, and the ZR1 is better. It's like, I don't give a fuck about your Chevy little-ass cars where you can only put 2 people in them. I'm trying to fit a family of 5, and in this case, a family of, 7 in the car. It's like shilling happens when somebody finds products that they actually believe in. And I actually believe in this product because I know how good it is. So let's say you're an Uber person. Let's say you need some cars in order to move people around for Uber. This is a great Uber car as well. Like, let's say you're doing Lyft or Uber or something, right? This is a great car for Uber and Lyft. This is a great car for Uber and Lyft. Like, you can see, these things have a lot of space in them. They really do. This is how I was sitting. It's like you can get one of these things for as cheap as like $20,000, basically. Chrysler Dodge, they'll make you a deal. You can get them that cheap. And the thing about it is, they're huge. So let's say you want to buy a Hellcat, but you know you're going to need an all-wheel drive car for the rest of the year, right? Well, you can get one of these, and it's not that expensive. And or you have a race car at home, and you can have one of these. Or you could, like, if you balling and shit, you can get the fucking Jeep Grand Cherokee. But this is a lot cheaper, and this is also easier to maintain. And this also gives you all the space that you could possibly need back here. But those shitty-ass RAV4s and those stupid CRVs, they don't do that for you. They don't do that. In fact, there's more space in here than there's in the Acura MDX. And I know there's a lot of Acura shills on my page who will attack me. Oh, yeah, well, you shouldn't be talking about the MDX. The MDX turns better. I don't give a fuck how well it turns because I don't go to no tracks. I don't care. But I have to say, This is a very good product. And you could tell it was a good product because of how much they attacked it. They attacked this thing pretty freaking hard. And that right there is why I like the Dodge Journey. I figured I had to do a live video because, you know, when I do a live video, anything can happen. I love live video, you know? What an awesome, like, little vehicle, right? It's cool. It's big. It's cool. It has decent looks. It's not ugly. And it doesn't look like everything that like this ugly-ass Kia. It doesn't look like that Sportage right there. It doesn't look like everything else on the road because it looks a little bit more masculine. It's like if you're a man and you're in touch with your gender roles, you can actually own this thing without ever feeling feminized. And that's a good thing nowadays in this liberal cesspool that we call New York City and California. You know, so you got to be comfortable in your gender roles. And Dodge just happens to make some of the best looking, different looking vehicles that you can possibly get. And that's the reason why Dodge is selling. So it's like they can talk as much shit as they want, those shitty ass professional reviewers, but the simple fact is they can't stop it from selling. And I like it, you know? So basically you have to see it for yourself, but I totally recommend the Dodge Journey as a secondary car if you're, you know, somebody who wants to buy a race car, but you know you need a second car in order to get through the winter and the snow all year round. This is a perfect family car. It's like, it does everything, seats up to 7 people. Can't go wrong with this. Tell Toyota and Honda that I said hello.